Luke Mitchell's case was built entirely on circumstantial evidence. There were three main planks that the prosecution focused on. Number one was that Luke found the body. Number two was a witness sighting that placed him near the path around the time of the murder. And number three was that his brother had amended a statement to say that Luke was home when he hadn't seen him in the house at all. One of the main points made by campaigners who believe that Luke Mitchell has been wrongfully convicted is that the search party changed their stories. The search trio were Janine Jones, Jodi's sister, her then partner Stephen Kelly, and Jodi's grandmother Alice Walker. It's said that their initial statements all corroborated Luke's, and that his trained tracker dog, an Alsatian, signalled at the wall, prompting him to go over and then find Jodi's body. But by the trial, they were saying that wasn't the case, that hadn't happened. By the trial, it was said that Luke had just walked straight to the wall, as if he'd known that Jodi's body lay behind it. There seems to be a strong implication that the search party discussed the changing of the stories or deliberately changed their stories in order to implicate Luke. First of all, let's have a look at some of the things that were said in Luke Mitchell's statements about his dog reacting at the wall. In one statement he said, "We walked past a V-shaped break in the wall and a few yards, not even 20 yards past that, Mia stopped and put her nose in the air and put her paws up on the wall as if trying to sniff over it. I went, 'Stop.' She suddenly stopped, sniffed the air, put her head right up and was sniffing the air. When she turned to the right and faced the wall and started darting over to the wall and sort of trying to jump up against the wall and sniffing over it." Taken from the August 14th interview. "When Mia stopped and air scented at the wall, then she started clawing up at the wall. We got to here. She sort of suddenly stopped, sniffed around, put her nose to the air and turned and went directly to the wall." Another account from November 2003 is read out. 25 yards after the V-shape in the wall, dog was jumping over wall. So what did the search trio say in their statements? At the trial, Janine Jones has read back part of a statement where she said, "Luke's dog was on a lead at all times, but it started jumping about at the wall." She's asked, "Do you remember it doing that?" And she replies, "I can't remember. If it's in the statement, it must be correct." Stephen Kelly's also read back part of a statement from July 30th. He said, "I stopped to check something in the undergrowth, but Alice carried on a couple of steps. I was aware of the dog pulling Luke over to the wall and saw it standing on its hind legs with its front paws on the wall." Mr. Kelly is asked, "So if you told the police that you had a recollection of the dog going to the wall, paws against the wall, you walk on behind Alice down the barley field, not paying attention to what Luke was doing. Presumably when you make that statement to police on July 30th, that's what you recollected. Obviously, yes." He replies, "If that's what's in my statement, that's what I remembered at the time, yeah." There is no evidence in the transcripts of any earlier statements from Alice Walker where she does say that the dog reacted at the wall. So it doesn't appear as if the search trio changed their stories about the dog reacting at the wall. Jodi's grandmother did describe the dog pulling towards the wall when she was standing holding the lead. She said, "Because I came back with the dog, I actually took the dog back from the wall and I stood in front of the V, and that's when I was standing holding the dog and it was pulling, and that's when Luke said, 'There's something here,' and he was standing to the right of the V when he said that." I can't find any evidence that she said anything other than what she said at the trial about the way the dog reacted at the wall. Innocence Betrayed states, "Because Janine and Stephen Kelly refused to accept the content of their police statements as correct at the trial, the prosecutor, in his final speech to the jury, was able to say, 'In the evidence of all the other people who were there is no record whatsoever of the dog reacting at the wall. Those records, of course, were in statements.' He went on to ask, how could each one of them have missed this most graphic moment of the dog, up on the wall, paws up on the wall, sniffing away? Is saying that they can't remember the same as refusing to accept their first statement? Is saying that if it's in their first statement it must have been correct, and that must have been what they remembered at the time, the same as refusing to accept it? And is it fair to say that if they couldn't remember, that this must mean that they lied? It seems pretty common in the transcripts to see people saying that they can't remember. And that seems pretty understandable considering that 17 months had passed since Jodi's murder and the start of the trial. And is it accurate to say that the search trio changed their stories about the dog reacting at the wall?